The Beyond the Ropes podcast is proud to support the Kai and Prince Foundation. Go to www.thekpf.com to donate or support the foundation on their mission of bringing people together to end violence. Founder Dr. Mark Prince's best-selling book, The Prince of Peace, is available on Amazon and other major retailers.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Ropes. This is me, Michael Prime, joined today by David White in a different seat, so it's throwing me all out. Dwight Best, Sean Mansfield, and Ricky Heavens, our special guest in the studio today. Thank you very much for joining us.
No worries, thank you for having me on.
Right, so
Where do you want to start?
we got our new feature.
No, we're straight
So
into
we,
it.
yeah, fuck it, we got our Purge. So we're gonna have to try and build a little intro music for the Purge, just to throw it in a little skit or something.
I've got 3 films to pick from.
I think there's about 10 films and a TV series now. They've steadily gone downhill. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Right, so the idea is that this week we'll all do one, but week on week one of us will take our turn to take something we would like to purge from the sport of boxing, something we no longer want to see, hear, or possibly even exist. That's a bit harsh if it's a person though. But but that's what it is. So we'll go clockwise round, and we'll get it right this time. And we'll start with our guest. Because I prepped him today.
Yeah,
And I gave him
I've
time
had
to
all day
prepare.
to think about it. Now that we're talking, I've gone completely blank. For me, it's got to be like home corner decisions. So I know obviously you've got all the big ones, like everyone's going to say drug cheats, but I think that's a problem only within the people that not every fighter is a drug cheat. The people that are shouldn't be in the sport anyway. For me, it's the hometown decisions you see. I mean, even the fight in the next gen card that I'm sure we're going to come to, Conway and Chessemen.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of talk about what way people thought that fight should have gone, things like that. But it's not even just a fact of decisions going the wrong way, but a lot of the time I think more of the problem is every close fight now, no matter what way the decision goes, even a draw, everyone's all of a sudden starts screaming it's a robbery. So I think it's more the viewers than the judging that can be the problem sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just irritating really.
Decent one. We said that before though, haven't we?
Yeah, we've spoken that.
Hometown robberies.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a joke. But yeah.
Yeah, some of them are not even close as well. Like
We've seen some
Can
you-
shocking.
Can- don't you?
Can you actually get fair boxing though? Fair boxing judging. That's the thing.
I think there's always a conflict of interests, and this is a big thing. When you have referees that score the fights, because as a referee, you turn up more often than not, you're going to see a lot of the same fighters, the same people. You're in the same surroundings, and you know certain fighters do well. They're going to have cards built around these people. That's more work for you.
Yeah.
If Mr. Georgiev turns up and knocks someone out, you're probably never going to see him again.
Yeah, or even beats the geezer on points.
Yeah, you're probably never going to see that fellow again. But potential paydays could be, even as a
Killed because of it.
as a referee, you're probably out of it.
I think a good example as well is Anthony Fox, who fought, I think it was in the Matchroom card as well. I'm not too sure of his record, but I think he's lost 60% of the fights. But if you see him, he's quality, and then you look at his record and they're all unbeaten fighters.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, as well as he has fought the best, that he's probably nicked a few of them or are a lot closer than they say.
Yeah.
And it paid off for him for that night. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Okay, next.
That'll be.
What about me? I'm still going clockwise.
I'm not committed to which way it is around the table, so
Yeah.
it's just not me. That's all I know.
For me, it's just crowd trouble. To be honest, just gets on my nerves, man. To be honest, I turn up to see fighting in the ring. If I want to see that shit outside the ring, I go down to my local.
and start a fight.
Just fucking go to someone and say, I'm banging your missus. Then it's gonna happen, isn't it? It's going off, isn't it? I just can't bother. It just gets on my nerves, man, to be honest. I'm sure I'm not the only one. What was the fighters in the ring?
What was the one? I think you boys went, and there was more fights in the.
That's the Eubank.
Was it the Eubank?
Eubank, the girl. Literally,
you lot were saying that. I haven't watched the actual boxing.
No,
I'm too busy watching everyone else kick off around.
Rose Cox was quite a bad one as well. I think.
I was at that one. Unfortunately, I was in the media bit, so I was in that. You know, the super there, that kind of the circle bit around the ring, so you're completely away from it. But I think the one we're thinking of is where it was. It was at the Brentwood. It was the Warren show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was for the British title.
Corcoran
and Garton, and that was the worst I have ever seen.
Really? Yeah, because I remember you lot. We were talking in the group going, "How is it?" And you were like, "I ain't watched it. Too busy watching everyone else kick off." Like we've literally one stopped and one's kicked off right behind us. Then there's another one we can see over there.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
the Eubank fight was like that though. It was literally because I was sitting right in the centre. So you've got the O2 and you got like you got the ring and then you got the centre bit that goes all the way up to the back, and then you got the two sides there. So literally I was in the centre, and literally fight kicked off on my left, then on my right, then behind me, and I said to my mate, "These are gonna kick off in a minute. Let's just get up and move to our right." And literally within like 30 seconds of me saying that, the fight kicked off to our left as well. And it's just like, come on, man. Right.
You know what as well? I think that links into what we were talking about just before as well with the York Hall drinking situation.
Yeah.
If fights didn't kick off so much, would you not just be able to drink while watching the fights rather than be stuck in the bar the whole time?
That's the thing. Like you can when you go to the big ones, you can go to the bar, queue up for 3 hours, get in your drink, go and sit in your seat, or like if you're at York Hall, you literally sit in the bar, can't watch any boxing, and have to come out and be not sober because you can get drunk as fucking anything in the bar. But I think a limit to where you can drink. Like if you're on standing or not standing, but if you're in the close circle, no drinks allowed out. But if you're up in the stands, I think like rugby, you should be able to drink in your seat. But if like York Hall, I think is a bit too small for you to be able to just go in and just sit. Let's be honest, no seat in York Hall's bad. Like even if you're sitting 10, 15 rows, you're still better than most venues, isn't you? Yeah. So for me, those smaller places, don't let them drink in the seats as much as I'd love to, because it is a bit of a killer, like we was talking about earlier. But for the bigger venues, I've got no problem sitting and drinking in the stand if I'm far enough away. I just think alcohol's great when you're enjoying it.
Just finish it. Alcohol's great.
No, it is when you're enjoying it. Like if it was allowed at football, I'd be buzzing. Because I don't get angry when I'm drinking. I love it. I'm watching football at home. I can have a few beers and enjoy it.
That's the thing that a lot of people do.
A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't handle that, and especially if their mates getting beaten up, and you see a group of the boys that he's fighting. It's like, well, they're the ones that are fighting, mate. Not us. Like, let me have my beer. And fuck off.
So I would put the counter argument to that I think it kind of encourages people to go and really binge drink.
Yeah, of course it does.
Because if I want to go out and I want to see the fights, but I want to have a few drinks, I've literally got to get in that room at York Hall and smash down 2 or 3 drinks. If you're on a night out, let's say that, you're not going to wait until 11:30 when it's all finished to go and have a few drinks. So you're then pushed in there. You think, all right, I don't know this fighter. I'm gonna try and have a few drinks. So you've got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or you're in there
pissed already.
Or that's it. Or you get there.
Smuggle in.
You think I'll have a quick drink in there. You buy your drink. You buy your drink. You're having a quick chat with the boys, and it's like first round knockout. Right. Oh shit. Next fight's up. You've got to smash these 2 drinks down quickly. And the same with the football is like people you have to go and get drinks in before you go.
3 beers at
Half time. You have to get in all of your drinking.
Yeah. Or you do what I did and just don't go back to your seat. Just sit. Fuck it, we're shit.
David's like the only person I know that's got a season ticket to go to the pub.
Mate, that is QPR. It gets like that.
Yeah.
Trust me. It literally, you just. I didn't make the second half.
After December, you've seen about 15 minutes of football.
I'd spend the whole time in the pub if I was going to watch them as well. Though.
Yes, alright. I realise you're a Brendan. But yeah, we've done that as well. Yeah.
Fair play.
Fighting in the crowd, shit.
Yeah. This one's not shit, but I'm gonna say rematch clauses in general. Just I don't think they're good overall.
Yeah. That's good.
Not even for close ones where they're like a draw.
It just slows everything down. I mean, for them ones, like you get good rematches and it just benefits the favourite all the time, innit? And it's like it just slows it. Like the obvious one now is Joshua and Ruiz. It's like I'd still rather have Joshua and Wilder, Joshua Fury, without the belts. It's like it just sets everything back 6-10 months.
Yeah. Well, over a year.
And then we look at Fury lost his belt because of one, then never fought. I just think it's unfair on the person who wins the fight.
And now Ruiz is looking like he's gonna, if he chooses to fight, is it Joshua? He's gonna have to give up his WBO because Usyk's been installed as the mandatory at heavyweight now.
I just think move on, and it keeps everything moving, and it gives that
they all still have big.
That rematch has taken precedence over somebody else who's worked their way into a position to fight for the world championship, and I think
because we're not going to see that fight until pretty much the end of the year now either, are we? So that just means any other fight with Joshua and say Fury or Wilder, that's next year earliest now, and we know it probably won't be then either. So
I think if they were just completely banned, it would be alright. But
so that kind of wouldn't you have to, for championship fights, have to get rid of rematches in general, really?
Not rematches. I think it's just the
clause
that
immediate
rematch. Like the loser's entitled to just a rematch just because you've lost.
If you're going to have a rematch again straight away, like so there's already somebody that has worked their way to that position, who's then having to wait.
It's not so much the rematch; it's the rematch clause where the loser's entitled to it.
Okay.
I don't think they're good.
Right. So it's counterproductive for me because I use it all the time, but I'm going to put box rec in there. Which is bizarre because I love box rec. I use it 2 or 3 times a day. But I want to go back to a time where we didn't know anything about boxers, where people like Mike Tyson were riding up the ranks, and we were like, well, not us personally, but he's amazing. Look at all these fights. He's knocking people out. But now we have fighters like that, and I'm like, hold on, let's have a quick look. Yeah. It's like, you're fighting chumps. This is a joke. And in terms of promoters and stuff, it's very easy to find someone who's 25-0. Who is also not necessarily very good. And I just think it makes it very. I think it makes it transparent, but it's in a good way because we can see how good people are, but we can also see how rubbish people are as well. Yeah. And I think we as fans, we rely on it too much on how we look at boxers.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Wilder 20 years ago now would be a megastar.
It sort of encourages that sort of problem that everyone has with keeping your O and being undefeated.
Exactly.
So MMA doesn't have the problem. Someone loses, they fight again a couple of months later. Everyone's forgot about that. I've nicked what he was going to say.
Yeah.
He was going to say no. Yeah.
Fuck.
Keep going.
You got a very small amount of time to come up with something.
Literally was like, I think it's a good one.
We should have gone anti-clockwise.
Yeah. I'd have been straight off the bat then. Yeah. Fuck.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a strange one because I use box rec a lot when I speak to boxers and when we like talking about shows and whatnot. But yeah, I think it kind of
go to Dave.
I'm really trying. But yeah, it takes away some of the smoke and mirrors, and it takes away a little bit of the magic of boxing, I think.
But do you not think you'd have to take away like boxing Twitter as well?
I'd like to get that in there anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's just unreal. Boxing Twitter, like, if it wasn't so obvious and I didn't use it 20 of the hours of the day, I would throw that in immediately. It's one of the worst things in the world, apart from football Twitter, which is even worse.
What about it though? What do you mean, like boxing Twitter? Like what?
Having to listen to everyone's opinions.
Yeah, especially ones that are wrong.
That are just
that are just wrong.
Yeah. But then there's so many of them.
It's like, I'll give you an example. I was going to talk about it later. This will give you a couple of seconds. Have you seen
ask one question.
Nathan Gorman's birthday is today, right? Have you seen the tweet that they put out from Frank Warren? So he was walking around and he's like, it's my birthday today, he's got a birthday cake, and he walked up to a Daniel Dubois poster and splattered the cake on it. And it looked like the stalest, shittest cake. It didn't stick to the wall. It just fell off in one lump and landed on the floor. I was like, this. You know, someone thought this is going to go really well. Yeah. And it was like, it didn't go well. Like, just take that tweet off. And then he even tweeted later on, he's like, just so everyone knows, that wasn't my idea. It's like, mate, it's done now. This doesn't matter. That's like Joe Joyce is coming out with the Mexican sombrero thing. Just some things, they probably sound great in your head.
Yeah.
Don't always do them.
Yeah.
That's the falafel rap coming, isn't it?
Oh,
It's like,
you're going to get falafel wrapped.
he should have run that past somebody first.
I don't think he runs anything past anybody.
David.
Right. Go on, David.
Oh man, waiting.
What I was gonna say is the whole precedent of having a 0. Yeah, but that's gone.
I don't think he was going to say that. I think you're just using that as an excuse.
No, I was literally
Really?
gonna say
And
like,
he was the one, just before we started recording, I said, right, everyone ready? He's like, just going to wing it.
no, but
Just going to wing it.
in my head I was thinking,
You had your wings clipped.
is it worth talking about? Because
Nah,
will people
not now.
agree?
Someone said it.
But now, yeah, it's like, cheers. No, my whole thing was like,
So he's going to end it.
0, yeah, because I cannot think of anything. Otherwise, it'd just be
You
like
just love the sport.
abuse. I'll get abuse for
So what is,
saying what comes
what is
out
your
of the
thing?
top of my head.
What is it thing? Go on.
The whole having a 0 on your record, is it what's the big deal? Like you said, MMA fighters, the greatest that are known. Let's like, I don't know, I'm not really good with names in MMA, but
Ken Shamrock.
yeah, he was but he was a name. Like he's still a big name in MMA. I'm guessing because I
I just
know
remember
him.
because he came to wrestling from MMA in like
Yeah.
95.
But I'm sure he's lost about 10 times.
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he's still regarded as one of the best because he's probably fought 80 times. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. And you look at the greats, Ali, you know, none of them finished with a 0.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is like, you looked at some of the next gen and they keep going on about Conor Benn. He hasn't got a 0. Well, he has, but he hasn't. We all know he hasn't.
Yeah.
But they keep saying he's undefeated. No, he's not. He really ain't. But on his record, it will go down as he's undefeated. Yourself, you've lost.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you've lost, but is it not going to define the rest of your career?
No, it hasn't. If anything,
Exactly.
it's probably done me more favours than anything else, because if it hadn't happened at the time it had of, it may have happened in a bigger
Yeah.
fight and I might not have got that opportunity again.
Mm.
It happened early so I can rebuild, learn from it, and not make that mistake at a higher level. So
That's it. But before that, were you worried about ever? Oh, if I lose, you know, there's my 0.
yeah, do you know what? The biggest problem I thought is, I remember sitting in the medical room after getting my stitches in. I was talking to a few people from the gym and I was just saying, no one's going to buy tickets anymore. Because as well as losing, I'd lost realistically to a journeyman, someone who I should have beat and I know I should have beat. And I'd lost thinking, no one's going to pay to watch me box again. I'm not going to be able to fight again unless I fight in the away corner. And then if I have a close fight, I'm not going to get the decision. That's another loss and it just goes downhill. But to be honest, it made no difference. If anything, I think I probably sold more tickets in my next fight after that.
Yeah.
Because people were interested to see where I went next after that.
Yeah.
We've taken it slow, but I think it's done me more good than anything.
Do you think boxing would be? See, in my head, I'm thinking MMA. They don't give a shit. If you lose, you lose. You know, at the end of the day, they can knock you out just as much as they can in boxing, and they literally will get a decent fight the next fight. Would it be a bad thing if boxing sort of got rid of the whole emphasis on he's undefeated after 20 fights?
Sometimes an undefeated fight, that's the only way you get fights though, by being undefeated. If you're awkward or like you're...
Yeah, but is
People don't wanna fight you.
because of the mentality that we've got of having the 0?
It's
a
easy
big
sold.
thing
That's
on.
the thing. For TV companies, it's easy sold. That's the problem.
The MMA, there's an organisation in it, so if you lose, at least you know you've got a contract and you're going to get another fight.
Yeah.
I suppose
If you're a boxer, you
haven't got the
lose, and
different
people don't need to fight
bodies
you. Why would they?
in boxing, I suppose you do. Yeah.
I agree though. I don't think it's.
And you think in MMA, they don't worry about that and they've only got one world championship belt in each weight division, don't they?
So,
And they're still not worrying about having that in boxing. If you ain't got an or unless it's early and you've been winning since, you ain't getting anything.
You ain't getting the next chance.
No.
Right. Yeah. I just don't think there's a big emphasis on the 0. For me, there isn't. I could quite happily see Joshua fight with 3 losses, and I'd still be interested.
I said it last week. The bounce back from this will be Joshua will probably do more ticket sales now than he would have done had he beat Ruiz.
And you know what? It's what was getting a bit boring watching all the hype in all of his fights is something a bit different now, isn't it? It's a little bit more entertaining. He's got that loss now. Where does he go? Like you're saying, the comeback is going to be a hype. So I think sometimes I think it might even be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, then you know what there's I suppose if, like you said, you've been beaten, you know the consequences of losing, and that's probably a spur for you.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that again. And I suppose for Joshua, for any fighter that loses, if they want to progress, then that's got to be in the back of the head thinking, no, I've been there, I know what it feels like to lose, I don't want to be there again, and you move on from it. So yeah, I just don't want to see the big thing about the zero. Look, no one wants to lose. If they're a sportsman, you don't go in there thinking, I don't mind losing, but I think
It's not the end of the world, is it?
I don't think it should be like the be all and end all of a fighter's career if they lose one of their fights.
But then isn't the emphasis like on promoters to make sure that that doesn't happen? Like they don't get dropped out after they lose?
Yeah, I think keeping them active. Yeah, but it depends. Like if you get someone who's truly terrible, you know, and he's losing, and he's hyped up and he loses badly, then you know it's not so much him being looked after. It's a him of, look, is this the right choice for you? That's different for a promoter to look at. If it's someone who's, you know, he's taken a bad beating or he's taken a close decision and he's lost, then there's things you got to tweak. But yeah, I don't think the same issue happens for the different consequences in the fighter. So yeah, the zero. Not a big fan of the zero.
All right. We had a question. We've got actually loads of questions in for you as well, which kind of just got touched on there. And it's, what has Ricky learnt most from his loss inside training and outside of the gym, and have you changed any aspects of your training? So obviously we heard what you've learnt, but did it make you change anything?
It did, but a lot of it does come down to that mentality of having the undefeated record as well. I remember on the night I lost, I thought I won the first round of the fight really comfortably, won best of box. I felt comfortable in the second, I thought I was winning. And then I sort of had in my head, I think most rounds were close. Like, if I'm not wrong, a lot of the rounds of the fight were draws. And it's more that mentality of thinking, I'm undefeated, I'm going to stay undefeated. So I got a little bit too complacent and a little bit comfortable thinking, I'm the guy here that's supposed to win, and I'm going to win. I'm winning. So I stopped maybe putting in as much work as not in the gym, I always worked hard, but in the ring I was getting a little bit too comfortable and complacent with maybe staying there and taking a few more shots than I needed to and not throwing enough back. And I think that's the biggest thing I learned. I've noticed since how comfortable I felt in a fight, which, watching back, I was losing. And at no point in my head during that fight did I think I was losing. I think a lot of that was the mentality of being undefeated.
Yeah.
Where since then, even though I've not had the hardest opponents, I've had a lot of last minute replacements. From round one, it's constantly, what more can I do? Even if there's 30 seconds left in the last round of my last fight, I've won every second, I thought, rather than just pick shots off and move, let me try and see if I can close the show and make sure I'm winning rather than just being in there. So I think that was the biggest thing I learned. On top of that, I learned, again, that how horrible losing is and how much it's going to make me, in a fight where maybe things are getting a bit tough or not going my way, how much it's just going to make me dig that a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And I think I found another gear that I didn't realise I had until now. So I think the loss done me loads of favours, and the rematch in just over a week's time is going to show that.
What was happening in between rounds? Like, what were you being told, and what was the general feeling amongst your people?
We were quite relaxed. I don't really panic too much, even in a fight where I'm losing. I'm never, but again, that's what was the problem. But we thought I was maybe nicking rounds more so than I was. Whether that's because we knew I was the home fighter, normally the home fighters get those rounds, or not, I don't know. But I didn't really feel at any point that I needed to worry too much. We started to get a little bit agitated. By about round 3, about the midway point, there was a lot of head clashes and like roughing it up on the inside that I feel the referee was neglecting a little bit and not being so strict with. But other than worrying about that and making sure I was trying to get me back to my boxing rather than standing on the ropes, getting a bit complacent, we weren't overly worried because we knew I was fit. I could bring the fight back out if I needed to. It wasn't until the late rounds we really started to worry, because now we realised the fight might be a bit closer than we originally thought. Then I picked up the cut, which was the first time I'd ever been cut in my career, and that's when the panic started to kick in. I could see the stress of the quarantine trying to work on the cut, and at the same time I was thinking, do I go out there and do I pay it on him and try and make sure I've win the rounds, or have I won enough and I just need to see it through now? So that was what was going through my head in the fight.
Had you seen him fight? Like, I don't want to go
No,
on
go for
questions,
it.
but had you seen that guy fight before?
A few times, yeah.
Okay.
And he was doing pretty much what I'd seen him do before, but maybe he was I was letting him have a little bit too much success, which won't happen next time.
Wow, that's quite comprehensive. That question came in from Lewis Smith, who is fighting at the MTK Show, Brentwood, 20th of July. We've had him on the show a couple of times. We've got a lot of time for Lewis. He's a good guy. And he sent us in loads of questions, so we'll be referencing back to him as well. Right. Another question in from Oliver McManus, who we all know well. He's I don't know how you describe him. Like he's a boxing journalist, but he's just kind of started from nowhere and he just built himself up now, and he does a lot. He's at all the shows. He's working for so many different publications. So yeah, check out if you're on Twitter, it's at Oliver G McManus, and give him a follow. And his question is to you: is it strategic to have the rematch over 4 rounds when the first fight was a 6-rounder, or is that just how it's unfolded?
To be honest, I couldn't really answer that. I think it is just a case of that's how it's unfolded. I have no problem fighting Dwayne in a 6-rounder, 8-rounder, 10-rounder, whatever. I'm not worried about who I fight, when I fight, how many rounds the fight is. I just fight. So the fact that it's 4 rounds, maybe a little bit annoying. I'd like to, now this is my 10th fight, be up in the rounds again. I've only had the 1 6-rounder, but if it's got to be a 4-rounder, it's got to be a 4-rounder. So it's nothing unless there's something I don't know about, it's nothing that I personally had planned or spoke to anyone about. It's just how it's happened.
In that instance, would it just be Steve just comes to you and just says, right, you're on this card, it's a 4-rounder against this person, and you just like, yes.
I think it may even just be a case of just trying to get. For me, it's just I feel like I could have moved on with my career anyway, and I could have still reached whatever level I'm going to reach. But it was more of I wanted to revenge the loss. I felt like just for myself, I needed to go back out there and prove that it was a one-off, it was a mistake, and it isn't going to happen again. So for a 6-rounder, you've got to sell more tickets. It's more stress. Did I really need that? If I'm going to have a 6 or an 8-rounder, I may as well have it against a new opponent. Get more experience in. So just get the 4-rounder in. It made sense really in that sort of perspective.
Okay, we've got another one here from Louis Keelan, and it's: where do you hope your boxing career is in 5 years' time?
5 years' time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that is a while. Yeah.
A lot can happen in 5 years, man.
A lot can happen in 2.
Yeah. 5 is a bit of a weird one for me, because I think with my age, I'm 21 now, so I'll be 26. I feel like that would, at the level I'm fighting, even with how many fights I've had, it'd be, because I'm building my career up from the bottom pretty much, and I've had a loss not too long ago, maybe top level would be a bit out of sight still, but not far away. I think I would achieve at least the British title by then, pushing on to other things, and that's what I'd hope I'd be. Yeah. At least British, pushing on to maybe slightly bigger things. I know you're going to get loads of people that think that's unrealistic and unreasonable, but for me, I've always thought since I turned pro, regardless, I can win at least the British, and I will win at least the British. So 5 years, I would like to have hoped I'd already established myself and won the British titles and starting to step up and move on from there.
But you need to be aiming high, like you're not in the sport to be.
Exactly.
If you don't think you can be a champion, there's no point of doing it. I don't see the point. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else buy into coming to watch you fight?
Exactly.
If you don't.
And like you said just before we started recording, but I mean it's a common story that all the fighters say, the stresses that you put yourself through in ticket sales, training, working a lot of you guys as well, to not even be doing it to try and get to the top.
That's what I mean. I'm not making money from this. Obviously I make money, but this isn't my living. I have to work.
Yeah.
So if I didn't think I was going to achieve something, why would I put myself through the stress of not having as much money as I would if I just had a 9 to 5?
Yeah.
And training 2-3 times a day for weeks on end for a fight and making a certain weight, not going out and enjoying myself. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I could achieve what I think I can achieve.
Fair play.
We've got some more questions for you, but I think we'll probably throw them in as we go through the boxing stuff, because they'll definitely cross with other things we've got to talk about. So let's talk next gen from last Friday.
Why are you looking at me? It's like,
I don't know why. I'm just sitting in my chair.
oh, should I ask the questions then?
Okay, please
No,
do.
I'm joking. Chessemen, anyone think he's just a small Frank Bugnoni?
yeah.
He just defends with his face. It's brilliant. Like, I thought he lost. I genuinely thought he lost.
All right, I'll tell you what then. We had another question from Lou Smith, and it's what's your thoughts on Ted Chessemen's performance on Friday as he boxed pretty much as he did against Sergio Garcia and got a draw? Is this Ted's level?
Well, at the moment, that's all I'm seeing. No, like, I don't know. He didn't do one thing that made me think, oh, he's better than this fella. Like, Conway, is it Conway?
Yeah,
What's
Conway, yeah.
Fair play to him, man. He
Especially the middle rounds, he looked really
certain
good,
rounds,
didn't
I just thought,
I thought he was
am I
excellent.
here to watch? Am I here? Not here, 'cause I wasn't. But I was like, am I watching him win this? Like, he looked brilliant. Like, he was slick. He was boxing really well. Every time Chessemen come in, he was just giving it uppercut, sending him back a little. I thought, wow. He couldn't keep up the pace for the whole fight, but I thought he'd done enough to nick it by a round, or maybe even two.
I had him winning it by a round as well.
I think it was harsh on him.
Yeah.
And,
It was harsh.
Yeah, I just Chessemen, like, I was watching it, and the more I watched it, I was just like, this goes back to our Buglioni conversations, where he's a good fighter, he just defends with his face. Like, there is literally no point of his arms being up, because all he does is just walk onto punch after punch.
We said
after
it in
punch.
when we watched the Garcia fight. He was literally. It looked at one point like he was trying to headbutt
Yeah.
the shots coming in. Like, he was jabbing it and he was throwing his head
Think that
forwards.
one
It's like,
Do you know, I think the biggest worry for me would be, if I was in that camp, is during those rounds where things ain't going right, you're going out into the next round with the same game plan, do the same thing again.
He did nothing.
So if your opponent just can keep up what he's doing,
Yeah.
then how can you?
Yeah.
What do you do next?
I just don't see
Hope
how.
that they tire.
Yeah, like, oh, you getting tired punching me in the face? Are you? Well, let's go another
I
4
guess
rounds.
so.
You're doing the same then. Go on, have
he basically has reached his level then, because his level is someone who can't keep it up for 7 rounds.
Yeah, but
Because he's easy.
I thought he beat him. I genuinely, like, I was a bit pissed off at the way he came off on the interview. Oh yeah, well, I'm disappointed. I was battering him. Like, nah. Look at the fella's face, and even
when you watch it back, you'll know.
Yeah, and you can see, like, you've been in a fight, and this geezer's looks like he's only sparred. Like, he looked way better, and I don't care if it's done. If that was an amateur fight and they were scoring it on hits, Conway's battered you, because he could not miss. But yeah,
Someone with some power then just destroys him eventually.
No, that's not saying that he ain't got a chin, because Conway hit him with some flush.
I think that's his biggest problem. That he's got a good chin, so he takes far too many shots.
Yeah.
When I was looking at Chessemen's stuff today, he's 23. But
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
This-
I thought he's a fair bit older.
but
than
it
that.
feels like he's been here forever,
Yeah.
and that he's been getting
Tough fight. Like, you can't.
like
Like, you look at
his
these
career
fi-
has been.
You can't
difficult.
be in those fights and sustain it. I'm sorry.
Not to
Damaging.
go back to Michael's box rec thing. If you look at his picture of box rec,
Yeah, he don't look like that. That's
mate.
like a headshot for a modelling agency.
Talking of
fresh face
box
on it.
rec pictures, I realised that they've only just uploaded a picture of me, and I'm not happy about that either.
So I'm glad you said that, because that's going to be the thumbnail for the today's show.
Perfect.
Yeah, he hates
Definitely,
it.
definitely.
Brilliant.
is now.
That's the one then.
But yeah, on that question, that's a great question. Because I was thinking about Chessemen today, that I personally, I don't even think this is his level now. I think and it's harsh to say to someone who's so young, but I think he's washed. I think he's done. He's had
I just don't-
these mental fights already,
Yeah.
and you just think, do you know who it reminds me of? Remember, like, we were talking about Sam Eggington in this sort of like a year or so ago. It's like he had some decent fights, he'd had some good wins,
And it was all about his chin.
But then
How-
they started
how
throwing
strong
him
is
in
his
with
chin?
people that were just smashing him up, and you're like, I don't think they like you.
That's a lot of the problem. I think it doesn't really matter about. Obviously, for everyone, age is different. So, 23 for one person, they may be nowhere near the level someone else is at 23 and performing. But I think a lot of it's those hard fights. They take it out of you.
Yeah.
They must do. They can't do you any good. They can only do you harm. So
That's what we say. It's the same in every sport. Like everyone's body, you've got so much mileage.
Yeah.
That's the end. Like, you've got a certain amount you can do, and if you do that all in your first few
4 or
years of
5
your career,
years.
like where are you expecting to go with that?
I think that's going back to what we was talking about earlier with myself. Why I've had quite a lot of 4-rounders. Turning pro at 18 and knowing that it was going to take me a good few years to build a following and reach a level high enough to challenge for things. Did I want to be chucking myself in the 6 and 8 rounders that were constantly going to drain me, and by the time I'm 24, 25 have reached my level, peaked and started to be on the decline?
Yeah. Suddenly you're becoming an away fighter who's scrapping around.
Yeah.
You become just a name to help sell a fight.
Yeah.
But then he's going to be in good fights. Like he's going to be in good fights, and then that level it's not an insult to say that he's reached his level either.
No, it's not. It's not a bad
That's a
thing.
good
I
level.
just,
Yeah, of course
I
not.
just think
I think he was hyped up a bit too much. Like he's very young. He hadn't had that many fights before they were
no,
talking
but
a
it was
lot
just
about
the,
him.
the standard of fights he's been in.
Yeah, and is that probably because he's in quite
I mean,
vicious fights? Like you know, he throws like he's a good puncher, but he also takes a dig as well, and people like to watch that.
That's it.
As much as you're thinking, I like to see a proper boxer. At the end of the day, you're watching two geezers punch each other.
It's going to end up
and
being.
he does that and gets punched.
It's going to be
So-
like Dave Allen's kind of story. So he was obviously parachuted in and fighting all these guys that were there to beat him up. And obviously at the moment he looks like he's getting a bit of success out of it. He's obviously reaching the upper end
3
of the
fights to the
sport.
world
He's-
title.
Yeah, Dave, you're 3 fights for a world title at the moment. It doesn't matter. But yeah, obviously
he's
Dave,
like the opposite of Dave Allen though.
yeah, Dave Allen's like the success story out of this at the minute.
Talk about me or Chessemen?
No, you're
Oh man.
both. But yeah, another question on Chessemen. This is from Lou again. It's can I get your thoughts on a fight with Chessemen and Fitzgerald, and who wins and how? I think Fitzgerald should get an MBE first of all for services to like humanity.
Go on.
That's it. That's all I got to say on it. I think he's a legend now.
What? Because of just beating Fowler?
I think he should have just retired after that. Set up a GoFundMe. People will pay into that just to keep his. That's it. So that can never be avenged or anything like that. It's just done it. I'm beating him. I've quit. Fuck it. I'm out.
Did your CBD oil help with your recovery? Cheers.
So Chessemen Fitzgerald. How does that play out?
Fitzgerald.
Same.
Yeah, I'm Fitzgerald as well.
Just, I think Chessemen, like I said, he's going to be in fights like this for probably a year or two more now, I reckon, and then we'll probably see him on that, like the small hall shows, I reckon, again. Or we won't, because he's not from down these sides. But
The thing that annoys me about him is when he was coming on his like 3 or 4 fights ago, you were seeing a range of different. Like he wasn't being talked about having a big chin and getting hit so much. So where's that come from? Why is that?
that's a problem, isn't it, when you think about it? If you start getting known as a person that's got a good chin, then you've been doing something wrong already.
Yeah, like why?
It's just the levels, isn't it? It's the level he's fighting at now. He's fighting.
He
He's
wasn't
fighting better
gone
opponents.
quick, yeah.
He's fighting better
So
opponents.
he's getting
That's
hit,
it.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's just worrying that you just think this geezer would, 4 or 5 fights ago you were talking about he's a good body puncher, he's strong, can do the rounds, and then the last 3 fights we've been going.
Who do you
fuck
beat? Carson
me,
Jones,
he can take
is
some
it?
punch. Fuck me, he can take some punches.
Carson
Yeah,
Jones,
exactly.
yeah.
And yeah,
Carson,
it's just,
everyone beats Carson Jones, though.
He's useless, isn't he?
He's rubbish.
twice, isn't it?
Sorry, Dave is our resident Kelbrook groupie.
Oh, right.
So any chance we get to give him a bit of a dig.
any chance. They'll even just start abusing me anyway. So
Even if we're not talking about it.
Crawford,
Yeah, exactly.
Crawford.
We've actually got a question coming today that actually directly references Kell Brooks, so we'll go to that to you in a little bit.
how does he feel about Khan fighting another fucking £7 million fight? Fuck off. Answered it. Good.
Finish?
No, that wasn't even the question.
Oh.
I'm glad I know how you feel about it now. So staying with the next gen card, Conor Benn
Bang.
got the win, got the stoppage. So on paper it looks like a good night's work. Where is Conor Benn at? Like as a fighter, I'm not expecting you to criticise or overly big up or anything, but you're a boxing fan, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you're watching that and you see people at his level, How good is he? And like I said,
Honestly,
I'm not
I
expecting you
have
to
no idea. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you.
That's the thing, we don't really know, do we?
I don't think anyone
We
knows.
don't really know, because has he
or just no one wants to say.
no, it's the
If he was
He's-
any good, we'd be talking about him a lot more. I don't think he's that good.
I think it's a case of I haven't really seen him do anything that fantastic for
Yeah.
me to start paying an interest, but at the same time, I've not really seen too much where I've thought, oh, he's definitely not any good then.
Yeah,
It's one of those ones for me. Again, it's close to achievement. It's you're not hearing much about his boxing. You're hearing that he's a warrior. He get in there and he mix it with everyone. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear you didn't hear that about Nigel then.
You shouldn't be hearing that when someone's that early in their career.
Yeah,
should
you should be going this.
Has he improved? Has he improved over the last couple of years? Because I think he has.
He's definitely improved. He's got better since
Spent a lot of money on tattoos, isn't he?
Spends a lot of money on tattoos, but
He's run out of space. That's a problem.
forehead will go target.
So,
yeah.
I mean, when you watch it, it was an exciting fight to watch.
Yeah, it was what every fan loves.
I feel like
a couple of swinging.
this is exactly where
fellas.
we're going to see Conor Benn. He's this sort of person you could put on this sort of show with that level of opponent, and you're going to get a good swing out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I think every fight he's in so far has really been quite entertaining, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But entertainment level, I rated him. But as a boxer, I don't know what level he's at.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
So you could put him probably at any level from like southern area upwards, and it would be exactly the same fight. It's just going to be a
interesting.
shootout.
Yeah.
Once he comes across an actual boxer, if that makes sense, it'll be interesting to see if his levels are, if he can be there, or is he just going to try and stand in the middle and swing again?
They're talking about Kelly.
Yeah,
He's been chasing him for a while, hasn't
So
he? Eddie would be mental to put them into.
So that happens. Yeah, I know, of course. But if that happens, what are we saying? Because for me, I don't know.
I don't know where I'm at with Josh Kelly at the moment.
Their styles are so different. One tries not to get hit as much as possible, and the other one doesn't give a fuck if he gets hit.
He's going to put pressure
It's
on
one of
him, and does Kelly have enough power
Yeah.
to keep him off?
Well,
Judging by his last fight, no.
Well, yeah. Can he
This is it.
constantly have someone coming up and roughing him? Probably not. But if it was a case of him boxing and he boxes his head off, really, if you look at the styles and how technique-wise they are, but that's not going to happen. I think Ben's just going to rough him up and mess it.
I can see that one building up like a Coley Chamberlain one, where it headlines a small show. Not,
2 draws.
Yeah, not O2 level this time, but like a smaller venue.
Yeah. York Hall or
We said it before. You need somewhere in
Copper
between
Box.
these two, don't you?
Yeah.
Copper Box for me. That's a ledge little venue,
It's
man.
too far away,
Kelly's kind
though,
of
man.
past that though, isn't he?
Yeah, so I mean, you need somewhere that's
Not just been like fighting Ben.
bigger. I just think so.
Yeah, the way that Adam Booth talks about him is sort of like.
Mm.
I don't think they're going
He's
to
really fighting international level though.
Yeah.
Kelly will hit the draw, but you know,
It's an interesting one. I think if Ben's obviously behind him in the pecking order.
Not in the WBA rankings.
Well,
After Ben's win, I'm surprised he's not champion already. To be fair, Eddie sent that email in.
yeah, we'll sell out.
Yeah,
You're cool again.
But it's not his fault, is it? That's the thing. Is like he gets the stick personally, and it's like all he's doing is fighting.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, it'd be better if they just said, look, he needs to
get.
get 20 fights. Like he's got no experience. Let's just give him 20 easy fights and let him knock everyone out. But it's just he had that slip up against, what was it?
Bernard.
I loved his Ali shuffle. That's like my boxing highlight of life. You can't fall over doing the Ali shuffle. That's terrible.
or even better than Belly Usyk.
No.
Throwing arms down. Come on, bring it. Bang.
Two punches later.
Consider it wrong. The best bit about that, we always say, is Eddie Hearn running up to the ring to try and grab his head as he was falling.
Yeah.
Bit sadistic,
No.
but I liked that.
Yeah.
It was like, I want someone to make a compilation of Eddie Hearn's sad faces. There must be loads of them about that. You know,
There's
like the
gotta
bit
be a
where
few.
Joshua was getting interviewed after the
Crying
Ruiz fight,
tit-
and you could just see
crying
Hearn in the
dollars, man.
background, just like, Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I liked him in the first Belly Hey one when he tried to run in and celebrate with Belly Jump
And he
and
just
Belly
got
was style that one out.
Yeah, that stayed with him for ages. People kept on referencing that and showing the clip. That was brilliant. Over the weekend, I was out on Saturday night, and when I got in, I watched the bare knuckle boxing. And I was fuming because I got in at just about, I think it was about 3, and I thought, you know what, made my peace with the missus. So she's not angry. I'm going to go back to watch some boxing. 5 o'clock it started.
Oh,
And it's summertime now, so you know when you look out the window and you're like, oh, it's actually daytime.
yeah.
It is fully daytime.
Fucking kid's gonna be up in half an hour.
Them sort of thoughts. And like I said, I stayed up because I really wanted Paulie to win. Not for him, because I do think he's a dickhead now, but because it's our sport. You didn't want a boxer to get beaten at boxing by someone who's not a boxer, by a wrestler essentially.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Like I'm fully a casual. I've said that about UFC and things like that, but that's probably my last foray into bare knuckle boxing. I can't see anything that's going to interest me massively again now.
I wasn't interested in this, to be honest. So,
Like I said, it's just the fact that it was Paulie, because
I wanted him to get beat for the pure purpose of the whole build up was
the spitting and
spitting. And he kept mentioning like even in the last one he was like, "Don't make it free. I've slapped you. I've spat in your face. Make
don't
it
make
free."
me slap you again.
And I was just like, any other walk of life, there'd be 6 or 7 of us jumping him. Spitting in someone's face is just a big no-no.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow. And you're just openly happy about that as well. Like if he'd spat in your face, you would be chewing at the, you know what I mean? But I was gutted at the same time when I saw it. I didn't stay up to watch that shit. But
I wouldn't have stayed up if I'd have been at home. But it's because I got in and it was late. You think, oh fuck it,
I'll watch it now. Yeah.
But it was no, it was.
Do you think there'll be more boxers go into it? Like say, like a Ted Chessemen, if he lost his next fight, he'd be good in it, wouldn't
Can
he?
you imagine the fucking state of his face after a bare knuckle run?
Yeah, but he'd probably be the best one in it.
You would
His head
think
would look like a potato.
Imagine the state of their hands after the fight.
Yeah, he's just like pummeled and they've got cuts in it.
But depending what the money's like, I mean, it's an opportunity
Could
for
you ever
fires.
see it getting that big?
I don't know.
But it depends on what level you're at. Like we
Yeah.
spoke about this before. Like Tyler Goodjohn, like he wasn't. Not in a disrespectful way, he wasn't at the upper ends of the sport. But now he's gone to bare knuckle boxing.
He's on a world title. For
He's having a world title shot. He will make money out of this.
Surely more money than he would have in boxing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because you're going to be at the top end of that card as opposed to the bottom end of,
Yeah.
say, like the matchroom cards that he was fighting on
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
small hall shows. So like there could be money to be made. So you could see more people transitioning there. But again, like I said it to you guys before we started recording. It just maybe that wasn't the best advert, but it was just head down and swing it out, and I don't like that. It just reminds me of when you were at school and you saw 2 people fighting. It was like you got the back of someone's blazer and you're just swinging.
Uppercuts, mate.
But that's what it was, and
That's
it's
the
2-minute rounds as well. Like obviously women's boxing has 2-minute rounds. You can't. There's no time to get going. It just is like,
or something.
Yeah.
1 minute, looking at seeing what you can, feint. The second minute you start getting warmed up, and then it's
that's it.
sit down.
When you start watching it, like when you're watching it at home on TV, you see the clock in the corner when the bell goes and it's 2 minutes, and then you look away, check your phone quickly, and then it's like 45 seconds left. You're like, what the?
Yeah.
But nothing's happening that time.
Yeah, there's still
Like there were some okay fights in the build up. On the undercard to that were interesting, but again, nothing that I'm going to come back and be like, yeah, do you know what?
Listen about this fella.
I'm a big fan of this guy now, or I'm a big fan of that. And that was like that was their big card. That was their showpiece event, double world title fights and all that, and just didn't do it for me. It seemed like a good show in terms of like the production of it as well. It looked nice, but no, it didn't work for me.
Fair enough. How many rounds did they go?
5.
Maximum 5.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
5 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, fuck being trying to do half hour worth of bare knuckle boxing. What did I say about Malinaji's hands?
Didn't he say one? Did one of them break? Didn't it?
Yeah, I said his hands weren't hand up. His hands couldn't survive 12 rounds with gloves. How's he going to survive with bare knuckles?
I was surprised that his face did, if I'm honest, because he got hit with some good shots. I mean, I know his nose was broken, wasn't it, by the looks of it?
Fucking lovely one across the... I don't know what you call that. What's that?
Nose?
Not nose.
That's your nose bridge.
Bridge. No, that's your bridge. What's that bit?
It's just your nose, man. Just don't overcomplicate it, Dave.
He got a lovely fucking cut across there, and I was like, I didn't even see where the punch came from. But yeah.
But I mean, as a fighter, obviously you kind of had this sort of situation where you got cut quite badly recently. Like, is it just adrenaline that carried you through at that point? Do you even register like you've been cut?
Yeah, well, I don't know for me because I'd never had a cut before in my career. Now I seem to get them about 10 seconds into the first round. At first it was a bit of a worry, but now it's just one of those things where you know you're cut, you're aware of it. If it's bad, you can tell it's bad, but you just deal with it. It doesn't. Yeah. I don't think a cut is going to make that much of a difference in a fight. I don't think if you're winning a fight, it's going to cause you to rapidly go downhill and lose every round from then on. In a close fight, little things like that, are going to make a big difference, but it's not something I would be overly worried about, and especially bare knuckle boxing. I mean, you kind of expect everything to land to cut you, don't you?
It should be really, truly.
But at the same time, broken nose and cut, he did only get hit with one clean punch, apparently. So where did they come from?
Because then it just seemed to be one kind of bum rush flurry. You just kind of ran at him.
Yeah, and then nothing happened before.
Threw a few digs, and that was it. And then Paulie came out of this kind of clinch, and you were like, "Fuck, your face is ruined."
I think the way I scored it when I watched it the next morning was round 1, 2, 4, 5, all a draw. And I think it was round 3 that I gave to. I can't even remember the other fella's name, but he won that round.
Yeah, was it Lebedov or Lebov?
From a bit of a headlock with a few uppercuts.
That's it. He just grabbed him, threw a few shots, but it's just very different to boxing, isn't it? It's not. Yeah. It's about the fight. It's not about skills. It's not about necessarily. Don't get hit. It's just about fucking someone up.
Yeah.
Wins his trade.
Winning the exchanges. That's what that's what it is. Which is decent, but I just
see that on a Watford Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah, I saw, and like here it was pay-per-view. It was £10. I think stateside it was like $39. So it was big money. Like you're basically pricing yourself there at the same price as like ITV put their pay-per-views at. So it's a big ask for a sport that people don't necessarily know about very much in this country, for a fighter that people aren't massively crazy about.
Manaj is well known, but he's not someone that I would have paid money to go and watch, even when he was boxing. Well, fuck me, what was his last fight? Egerton? Was it his last fight, Egerton?
I think so.
Yeah, it probably was actually.
Didn't pay for it then. Why would I pay for him?
I was like, Egerton was just standing there, just getting punched in the face, and he's had no power, does he?
No.
Yeah, like that's. I said before it. If Malinaji like lasts the 5 rounds, his hands are going to be fucked because they couldn't last.
He did well to get through it, because you could see that it wasn't his sport. He was trying to work off a jab and all that. And boxing, that would have been brilliant, but it just didn't work in that.
No, I think you're trying to work rush in. Really,
that's it. When someone can just run at you and essentially grab you, like working off a jab isn't a good idea.
Fuck all when he's got your headlock in it.
Especially if it's like you said, you can't get the respect of them because they're just gonna walk through that anyway. It became a.
Did he land anything good?
He had a few. I would say clean shots, but they weren't. Like I said, there was nothing in them. Like you get hit, and these guys are normally getting hit bare knuckle by guys that can bang. Because that's if you're in bare knuckle boxing, you're not there because you're a fantastic boxer. You're there because you can knock people out probably. So they're used to that. But Paulie just couldn't do anything to make him think about it. That was all it was. And that last round, he just ran away from him completely. Yeah. And that's the round that I would assume just swung it completely.
Yeah.
Just you can't run away, especially when it's only 2 minutes. Man, you've just got. It's easy for me to say as a fan, not in there, but you've just got to get stuck in. You just can't run around because you're just not going to get anything. And especially those fans, and like the way that sport is, from what I gather,
they want to see a tear.
That's it.
That's it. They want to see
one little flurry each round where you land even just 2 or 3 shots in a 2-minute round. That's enough to win you the round. Yeah. So you could literally go out there first 30 seconds, try and land anything you got, and then circle around for a minute and a half. It's not hard to avoid someone for a minute and a half when you're only doing a 2-minute round. Yeah. But if you're already winning the round,
that's it.
I don't think you could stand there and try and work off a jab like he did and box and move. It ain't gonna happen.
It wasn't a good game plan.
No.
And like going back to what you were saying earlier on, that the opponent's going back and he's like, I don't have to change anything because he's doing the same thing every single round.
Yeah.
The coach is just like, just keep doing what you're doing because he's not going to change. You'll get him eventually, and that's it.
And if not, he's just going to run away from you. So you haven't got anything to worry about.
Exactly.
You can't lose a round.
Yeah, that's it. You can't lose around if you ain't doing nothing.
Okay, right. Before we move on, there's a show this Friday at York Hall. I think O'Hara Davis is on it. But
Yay.
there was some news that I saw. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday that it made me chuckle. So there's going to be no Vada testing for Pacquiao
Thurman
versus Thurman.
Them two will be coming in like beasts.
So I'm fully expecting Manny to turn up.
Yeah,
and
they may as well make it super middleweight.
Just roll back.
Give him 6 months to go.
He's going to roll back the
Pacquiao
clock.
just comes in with his head like, hit this.
Pacquiao from 08's coming out.
The rise.
Like I said on Twitter, he's just started his run from Manila now. That's his entrance. He's coming straight in.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
running down the aisle.
He's going to be buzzing off his tits. Like, we've said it for ages. Like you would never say he's someone who's a drugs cheat. But what is it they say? It's like if it seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
Yeah.
Working your way through 8 weight categories. Like when all the Floyd stuff was going on, I know Sean was hot on it. That it just seemed ridiculous. That suddenly when people are asking you to do a drug test, it's like, oh, actually, I'm afraid of needles. I don't want to do any of this. And then he hasn't knocked anyone out. Goes to fight in the Philippines. Suddenly Pacquiao's rolling back the years.
I'm back, bitches.
Yeah.
I think it's a fight where the come down the next few days after the fight may be a little bit worse than the actual fight.
Yeah. I just don't understand how we can be in a situation where you've got two supposedly elite athletes.
And the biggest drug testing agency and not anything to do with it.
I mean, if it's like that, they may as well change the rules and just let everyone take anything, but you've just got to say what you're on.
I said this before, we should just have two sports. In every sport there is, just have with two separate sports. If it's the Olympics and athletics, just like, right, we'll have 2 races. You lot are clean. And you lot take whatever you want.
Yeah,
let's just see how fast you can actually go.
Yeah.
And let's just do it that way. Boxing, fuck it. If you all want to do the same thing, just go and do it. But this is ridiculous.
But bear in mind, the other fella's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not,
so you may as well just not bother.
Yeah, you're not going to have an
Save
advantage
yourself
because
some money.
he's doing exactly the same. So
you just have to get better stuff.
Yeah.
Go see Jerome
take
Miller.
more.
Just
Just
a case
take more.
of
Just take more.
Just take more.
Camp doesn't matter who's got better drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerome Miller set up business. He's
Yeah.
doing special
You
burgers.
can just
for
see
everybody.
loads of pharmacy companies as their sponsors.
Hey.
Ooh, Glaxo's
Big money in that.
Shit.
I think it's just identified a sport there. We should just try and make our own one now.
Oh, can you imagine that? No, you wouldn't get sanctioned. Dirty boxing.
I reckon they should let the
Got
refs
names-
take drugs as well. Though.
But they got to be on,
Just the rev like jacking up in the
Some
corner of the
Some
ring.
judges, I'm pretty sure some judges do.
like in between rounds, they're just doing lines of coke. Just he's got to get it
That'd be
done.
amazing. Imagine a fighter's like losing the fight and then he just gets injected with something in the corner in between rounds. It'd be so good and then he comes out and he's amazing.
What was that film? Was it Ultimate Soldier? Way back in the day with Van Damme and Dolph
Oh
Lundgren.
yeah, Universal Soldier.
Yeah, when it gets
Love
to the
that.
end, and we're probably showing our age here, sorry. And it gets to the end, they're having this massive fight, and they're both like chasing after syringes because they can inject themselves and become super soldiers.
Oh yeah.
That's the end of the film. That's what we just need to do that.
Yeah.
Get
Reminds
back
me
to
of I
your
watched
ball.
a video on Facebook the other day. I think it was Burmese bare knuckle boxing or something. And if you get knocked out, you're allowed a minute. And this is if you're out cold. Your corner team's allowed a minute to revive you, and you can fight on.
Mr. Fuji, do you
You
remember?
have
Oh, that was
1
the
minute. This guy was out cold, and they've dragged him back to the corner, and they were slapping him, throwing ice water over him. He's woke back up, sent him back out. But to be fair, he went out and won. So fair play to the fella.
Jesus.
It was like Paul, do you remember Paul Bearer?
Oh,
They get him.
it earns out.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
so
The
good.
lids
shut
come
up
off
in
and
a
they suddenly
minute.
sit up. Yep, I'm good now. Yeah,
yeah.
we should just do that in boxing, but like wrestling with the ladder, and there's like a syringe. There's a syringe hanging from the top. The first person to get to it can win the fight.
Fucking, yeah, some fucked up sports.
Listen, there's markets out there.
You just have a
now.
selection of drugs in the corner, and you're only allowed to use certain things. Once you use it, it's
per
gone.
round, yeah.
Make your mind up what order you want
Oh,
to use
imagine
it.
that. And some of it will like be good, some of it be
Some of
terrible.
it's shit, yeah.
That's
Some
not
of them
your
make
weapon of
right.
choice.
Yeah.
You just keep blinking. For this round, you just got to
Yeah.
keep blinking.
It was like blinking
Next
powder.
round, right, you can have the good stuff now. Fucking come on.
Oh shit.
Like,
Yeah.
who's that guy that does all the boxing animations? If he's not got this in his life, some things he needs to do. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
Obviously-
we're all retiring because we found a new way to make our money anyway.
This is all like patent pending already. So
No
by the time this goes out tomorrow, we'll have copyrights and all this. So don't try it.
Yeah.
So I mean, as a boxer yourself, what are your not that's a stupid question. What are your thoughts on drugs in the sport? But how prevalent do you think they are?
I think it's probably a lot more common than people know. At the lower levels, not so much. I don't think anyone would really. Well, they may, but I don't personally think anyone would really bother. At the top level, I think pretty much most fighters are probably on something that may not necessarily be allowed, but everyone's got so many ways around testing or around the system, really, that everyone's probably on something. Regardless of if that's something like, not so much like a Jarrell Miller where he's on everything he could possibly take.
Yeah, that was insane, man.
But yeah, I'm sure there's probably loads of little things that ain't really going to be much of a performance in a hard, so that's not allowed and people are taken accidentally and stuff as well. So, but I think probably a lot more common than we know about. And I think a lot of the top promoters and everyone probably does know who's on what, but no one's saying anything.
Eddie Hearn said this the other day. Did you see that? He said there knew a number of like American fighters who were definitely on it.
Oh really?
But
Well,
he
if
said
that's
he
the
wouldn't
case,
name
you
them.
just say, wouldn't
But
you?
yeah, this is the stupid thing. He's so against drugs.
Unless they want to do.
When
If they're not your own boxer, yeah.
When he was like, I'm not going to name him. It's like, well,
everybody's we said it.
You just
many
signed
times. Everybody's got,
yeah, he's just lost.
everybody's got principles until it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have we seen
100%.
lots of fighters come out and slag off, like, I know Bellew gets a lot of stick for it, he's always slagging off drug cheats, but his favourite boxer's Evander Holyfield, who's been caught doing it. And then you get Eddie Hearn, who moans about it all the time, and then it's like, but your headline fight on this is Dylan White versus Lucas Brown, who have both been done for it.
When he wanted Ortiz for Joshua.
It's meant to,
Povetkin on his
everybody's
card.
got these principles, but they don't always play out the way you would.
I think
you would
money
expect.
starts to come before your principles go out the window and it starts to be about money then, don't
when
it?
it becomes expensive to have
Yeah.
principles, doesn't it? When you're
Why
out
have the
there?
guy who's clean when the drug cheat's a bigger payday for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Just trying to find some more questions for you. I'm hoping that you know this guy, and it's from Luke Lazenby.
Oh yeah. I don't know what he's going on about there.
The question is, can you deep throat a banana?
I cannot. Not that I've tried, but
I was just
I don't think so.
that answer flew out.
It was like,
I was practicing
not
before I
that I
came
tried, yeah.
How big's the banana?
Yeah, Haribo.
Right, so I mean, when are you back out yourself now anyway? So I know it's obviously coming back up.
July 6th, back at York Hall, rematch with Dwayne Green, who, as you know, I spoke about earlier, beat me last year, September, I think, in my first 6-rounder.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, it's just a 4-rounder this time. But I'm looking to go out there and show that last time was a one-off, and even since then I've improved massively.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking past the fight, but at the same time, I've got a lot of respect for Dwayne because obviously he beat me last time fairly. He took the rematch again on our show in the away corner, but it's more of a case of I needed this fight. I didn't need this fight for my career. I needed this fight for myself to prove to myself that it was a one-off.
Yeah.
So go get out the system, go beat him up hopefully, and then move on with my career.
Cool.
Because it was the thing. It wasn't so much of the when I looked at my record, saw the loss. It was just sitting at home thinking, not that I'd lost, but someone's beat me and I haven't beat them back yet.
Yeah.
So I've got to just beat him back. We don't need a third fight. That'd be taking
the rubber
piss.
match.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go get the win and then we can move on from there and look to start building towards hopefully a southern area.
We had a question in from Rob Cass, who does the hashtag Ringwalk Friday Feeling, which is, if you're on Twitter, it's like he sends out a Ringwalk song for loads of fighters and for promoters and whatnot. It's a really good thing on a Friday. So if you're listening, you're on Twitter, give Rob Cass a follow. It says probably it's a bit late, but we squeeze it in. What is Ricky's favourite Ringwalk song of all time? Have you picked yours for the 6th of July?
For the 6th of July, I haven't. My personal favourite, I could not tell you. I have nightmares even picking my own. I think I've had 9 fights now and I've had about 8 different entrance songs. It would have been 9, but one of them got the wrong thing got played. So it's just a case of I literally make the decision and at the last minute just throw something out. But other than that, I don't really know. there's so many good ones. Myself personally, I like to just try and have something a bit different. I don't just want the generic Rocky theme tune or the.
What have you had so far?
Well, we've got a mix coming here. I've had a lot of the generic ones, to be fair. I've had
that Rocky one.
Yeah. I was listed off my own there. I've had Madness, One Step Beyond a couple of times. Free From Desire, which is a bit of a common one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good boxing song.
But the result didn't go plan that day. I had a draw, so I thought we'll get rid of that one. I can't even think what I've had. I feel under pressure here.
And when do you decide like what you're gonna have?
When I get asked, what do I want?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I spend weeks looking through all these different songs. I like that. Them ones never get chose. It's a last minute panic. James Brown and Boss was actually my favourite. I think I had that on the Haymaker card.
Yeah.
I needed something that pretty much the main part of the song started as soon as I walked out because I had a short entrance. And I liked that night. So.
That's the thing with your call.
Yeah.
Like, you're already standing on the stage when your song starts playing, and then you've got about 30 feet to stretch out.
Yeah.
That was a bit like the Royal Albert Hall show, wasn't it?
I don't remember that
the
one.
The ring walk was really short as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think for my last fight I had Prodigy. I had what song did I have? Omen.
Okay.
And even that takes about 45 seconds to get going really. I remember when I watched the video back that someone recorded for me, after I could see the referee and the ring announcer getting a little bit bored of waiting for me. So even backstage I'm standing there like, I don't want to go out yet, but I can see everyone's eyes are burning at me. Everyone keeps opening the curtains for me to walk out. It's sort of, so now it's just a case of find something that starts and just go with it.
Fuck it, man. That's your moment. That's your time to shine. You've got to take that in.
It's the hardest part. It's the same with buying new ring kit. I look at all of these new shorts, design all these new shorts, and don't buy the same red and white ones.
Is it for you, or is it like go back to the entrance music? Is it something to get the crowd going as well?
I think it is something to get the crowd going. I think that's really the most important thing about it, and it becomes more the entertainment aspect of the sport. I think that's important in building a brand. But at the same time, sometimes it's nice to be a bit different rather than, you go to your Matchroom and Warren card, you just got Sweet Caroline and whatever else on repeat all night. But I suppose it works. So.
If you come out to Sweet Caroline now,
that's off the list now.
You've got to take that off the short
But I'm
list.
open to suggestions if anyone's got any.
I'm sure that Rob will have plenty.
I'm sure Rob has,
He must have an absolute database now of
just quick
ring walk songs.
What would you have?
I was hoping I was going to throw that question to someone else before someone put me on the spot.
Good. Don't look at me.
Right, go around the table. What's everyone going to have?
Alright, but we'll go anti-clockwise this time. From you.
I've said it. That's my
Exactly,
favourite.
you're fine. So you're fine. So Dave?
Fuck off, man.
Who's why?
I don't know, man. I like different
Sweet Caroline.
No. Champion by Clement Marfo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, yeah.
Can you imagine me twinkle toes in it out to Chris Brown? Love it.
Chris Brown and Chipmunk. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, go on then.
Me, I would come out to
No.
Not that easy, is it?
Yeah.
I felt that for about 5 seconds.
I would come out to Out of
My head is
Space by
blank.
Prodigy.
What?
Out of Space by Prodigy.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean?
I don't know what I'd come out to. I think my favourite is Kell Brook's one. That's my favourite. So
Unanimous.
without having time to
like
think
the
about
best
it.
entrance in boxing days.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
As a rematch.
From what I remember.
It was a while ago.
It was, and we were drunk. Weren't we, Sean?
Or Peter Andre, Mysterious Girl. The start of that's pretty good.
Oh wow.
That gets straight into
Baby
it.
girl! That's what's in there. The gays in the rings be like, what? Baby girl to Max Kirby on that?
Yeah. Inside his head straight away. Just his head.
Rent free.
Just his head,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Come on, Dwight. Because we got Mysterious Girl. That's something to follow there. I tell you.
MC Hammer, man. Can't touch this.
And you just come down.
Touched it.
Shuffling around. Sitting there.
Who won't be able to, mate? Up inside the side like a crab, mate. To touch me.
I would love it if you came out to that and then the next guy came out to Touch It by Busta Rhymes.
That's decent.
Right, so there's an MTK show this Friday, York Hall. Ahara Davis on it, Daniel Ebenike, we've spoken to several times. Jack Eubanks on there, I think he's going to be quite early on in the card. Actually against Fons Alexander as well. Do you see a lot of the same journeyman on the circuit then, right?
Yeah, that's why normally when you find out who you're fighting, you don't really have to watch any videos or ask anyone. You've seen them box plenty of times before. You normally get the same ones that rotate through the same shows quite a lot. Normally only if they're good.
Yeah.
Only if they're turning up, they're having a bit of a go.
You've got to give some entertainment, not just turn up and just cover.
You don't just want some of these guys that come over just cover up and throw nothing back, because the boxers don't learn anything. No one wants to watch it. All you are gaining from that is just the win.
Jamani's actually on this card as well against Sam Gilling.
Yeah.
We said it before about Jamani. Like, he's 7-6 now, but his record, not disrespectful, it's a shit one for someone who's I think he's really good.
Yeah, he's quality. Yeah.
It's just like he's decided now I'm gonna just go and like a little.
So I mean, I've been sparring with him a lot this camp, most for my fight as well, and for him, and his quality. On his night, I think he showed that against Adrian Martin, especially back in March, that when he turns up and he's had a proper camp and some notice and fights at a weight he's comfortable at, he could beat most guys. He's top level, but I think he's taking a lot of these fights in the away corner, but even then, a lot of them have been a lot closer than what the scorecards may suggest.
And again, it's where we come back to the home fighter decisions.
Yeah.
But at least he does get credit, though, doesn't he? Like,
yeah.
I think it was that he got quite a lot of credit for that.
But like I said, I think the first time I actually saw him fight was on, I think it was the Haymaker card at York Hall. I think it was a Southern area fight.
Oh, he fought Dave Bowman,
I think was it a draw, that fight? No, obviously not.
He won. He beat Dave Birmingham and he drew with. No, sorry, he lost the Southern Area to Jeff Afori.
Yeah, it wasn't the Jeff Afori. So it must have been the other one that you just said. I can't remember. But he's very good. And it's, like I say, it was a strange one to see him suddenly switch to the away fighter and obviously be travelling.
I think a lot of the problem was when he was at lightweight. I think he's huge for lightweight.
Yeah.
And after he stopped Dave Birmingham, I don't think he had months in the gym where he couldn't get a fight. He was trying to defend his title. He couldn't get anyone to challenge him.
He had that belt for a long time without a fight, didn't he?
He went through all of the voluntaries, literally a list of everyone he could make a voluntary against. He was turning it down. Everyone that was mandatory, they all turned it down. So it was a case of, what do we do? He had months and months without getting anything. So I think it was just a case of getting a little bit pissed off with the sport, really, and not putting in the same effort because you ain't got the same love for it. And then now getting back into the gym and working, just maybe he's realised the best way for him is to just box in the away corner. I think it's a case again that I was talking about earlier with money. A fight against him isn't going to bring in anyone's huge payday, and he's so awkward and so good that they don't want to fight him for a small title and small money. Yeah,
there's not a lot to reward for the amount of risk in a fight with Jamani. I suppose the hope for us as fans of him then is that he would have an away fight with someone decent, like on this sort of thing. Like Sam Goody is a decent name. If you get a win there, that puts you back on the up and up sort of thing. Interesting. Yeah, so it's a decent card. I assume it'll be on IFL. But yeah, Daniel Ebenike, like he's really pushing up as well now. I think they said they want him to get to like, is it like English level or something this year? But Ahara Davis against Miguel Vasquez, 41-7. He's obviously no mug himself. Where are we at with O'Hara now?
Don't care.
Yeah, I've lost interest over the last year. I don't have a clue. Don't have a clue when he last fought, who he last fought.
Lost to Catra, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's got two losses now. Let's get his record up. See what I mean? I hate box track. Fuck it. Put Purge in. I'm straight on it. Yeah, Jack Catterall lost to UD at Leicester. But again, that was October last year. So I mean, he's been out of the ring a long time again.
Yeah, I don't really know where. Unless even if he wins the fight, I don't think anyone's overly interested anymore.
He's good. Like Josh Taylor embarrassed him. Embarrassed him. And it showed, like, you look where Josh Taylor is now to where he is, and it probably is right. he is fighting on at York Hall because it is at York Hall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's not that good.
Like he's listed as being the 7th best lightweight in Britain, super lightweight. Sorry. So he's below Ritson, Terry Flanagan, Robbie Davis Jr., Jack Catterall, Luke Campbell, or Josh Taylor. Like I don't think he's going to go above any of them.
No.
So he's probably he's hit his level already now.
There's probably a few behind him that are looking at him thinking,
that's a name for me.
I could take that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be long before he's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
And we're talking just British, and at one point people were talking about him as being a potential world champion and going on and dominating. Like obviously all of our opinions changed. I know Dwight, you were like quite a fan of him earlier on in his career when he was in fairness, he was doing the business though. He was turning up, he was knocking people out. He was just so, them arms were ridiculous. He was so awkward.
Yeah. When it's all going well, isn't it?
Yeah. But that was one of those House of Cards things. Once it went wrong, it just all came crashing down quickly. And we said it before, like with that whole, I hate the term, but the Matchroom FC, like the people that they live for these events, they turn on you quickly because they're not boxing fans. They're not fans. They're fans of the event. They're fans of the drama and all of the stuff around it. Yeah. So you can find yourself on the outside of that quite quickly. It must be as a fighter. I suppose kind of what you were saying, like when you took your first loss, or you took the loss first only, hopefully. You suddenly start thinking about ticket sales and people coming to see you. Like all of these things, they all obviously feed into it. At that level, it must be.
It ends up becoming a case of more worrying about ticket sales and things like that rather than an actual fight. You're not worried about, even if you've got a good fighter for a title, can I win this fight? Can I sell the tickets to get this fight? That's your first worry, always. Yeah. For me, every time I get offered a fight, I have to look at the date and think, can I sell tickets for that date? If so, yeah, sweet, go ahead, I'll fight whoever you've got to fight because I can sell the tickets. If not, I know I have to look at another one.
Yeah.
So it's a nightmare.
Ticket sales for you, I mean, what is it? How difficult is it? I mean, obviously you must have a certain amount where you know the guaranteed.
To be honest, I can't complain too much. I've never had it too bad. I've never struggled to make sure I'm earning money, and not losing money. But when you're fighting, this will be my 10th fight in a row at York Hall. When you're fighting 4 and 6 rounders at York Hall for a couple of years against opponents who are only gradually getting better in quality, it's hard.
It becomes a hard sell, doesn't it?
Even if I did all of a sudden have a fight against a guy who's got a great record in the next fight, until there's titles on the line and other big fights on the night, how many more people are going to be that interested? Because a lot of people they'll come to 2 or 3, then they won't come to 2 or 3, then they'll come to 2 or 3 again. Because it is hard to expect people to pay £40 for a ticket as well as make sure they're not at work, they've got babysitters for the kids, transport.
Yeah.
It becomes an expensive night out to watch a 4-round fight against whoever, really.
And what's your routine on the day? Like we've asked other guys in the past, like what you do immediately before or immediately after the fight. Like how do you go out, celebrate, or?
Depends how the fight goes, really.
When you win.
Yeah. And how I'm feeling after.
9 times out of 10, what do you do?
Yeah. To be honest, it's one of those ones I always want to go out. I always, before the fight, I think, I can't wait to go out, like enjoy myself after. I get out the ring, I'm buzzing. I go and see everyone normally everyone's in the bar, isn't it? York Hall. Go in there, see everyone, doing interviews and stuff I've got to do. And by that point, the adrenaline's starting to wear off. I think, thanks, just going home actually. So just going around one of my mates or back to mine, and my girlfriend's just ordering food and eating for the entire night. So that's my celebration there. And then you regret it all in the next morning.
And like in the build up to your day, like obviously how do you we always say things like this, like even just the little things, like how do you get to York Hall, and like what time do you go before your fight and all that sort of stuff.
We normally,
fans just have no idea about.
We normally get there quite early because, as you guys will know, we don't all have the luxury of weighing in the day before.
Yeah.
Normally, if I'm fighting at York Hall, I weigh in between about 12 and 2 p.m. on the day. So I go up there. My dad drives up there. I don't like getting a train up there from around like this area. It's a long old journey.
Not that there's anything wrong with our area. Just
no, not more the distance.
It's not like Compton around here.
So we drive up there. I get to York Hall nice and early. I try and get there before everyone else. Get my ticket money paid in on the day as well, and just wait for the scales. The second the scales are there, I'm always the first one on them. I don't really struggle for the weight, but it's just nice to have that relief now that I'm free for a little while. Once I've weighed in, off out. I like to try and find somewhere to go that no one else is going.
Yeah.
Don't talk about boxing for a little while, just relax, rest up until we get back to the venue that night, see the doctor and start getting wrapped up and ready. So yeah, that's my day really. It's a long old day, to be fair.
I'll bet if you're like,
Yeah.
if you happen to be there.
Like I said, the
midday.
last one I boxed last on a 16 fight card. I boxed at about 11 p.m. I think I got there at 12:30 to pay in ticket money to weigh in at 1 as well. So I've been there since 12:30. By the time I boxed, I had got cuts, I got stitched up, done my medicals and everything else. It was pretty much midnight, so I'd been there 12 hours. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
That's another thing I don't think people realise on the day as well of the fight, that if you do get a cut or something in the small hall shows, you ain't getting any luxury treatment or off to the local hospital. You're always out into one of the rooms near the toilets with a couple of lights turned on. You get stitched up there and then.
Yeah.
So that's not always fun.
No.
Yeah, it's the bits behind the curtains that people just don't see.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're boxing fans, like Dave was saying, and you want to see people swinging it out.
Yeah.
And then you see two guys leave the ring with cuts, and we just go home.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there, and it's
Hit a bar.
falling to bits. Some of these guys can be.
In terms of your weight, I mean, obviously you say if you're weighing in on the day of the fight, at that level then it must be very hard for people to be really struggling at weight, because you won't be...
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's why on the small shows as well with fighters, you can see such a variation in the quality of their performances fight after fight, because you haven't got that long to weigh in. And depending, sometimes you might get lucky. Like last time I was late on the card, if I'd struggled for weight, that'd have been ideal. I'd have quite a lot of time. If you're on first, you could be fighting an hour and a half after you've weighed in on that day. That's not enough time to refuel and warm up. Even if you've made weight easily, that's still not enough time to eat and get ready. So I think it does play a massive part. But like I said, even though I'm quite big for my weight, I've never really struggled too much. So that does help a little bit.
But you have you noticed then, in like, say, contrast like two of your performances where
Yeah,
you've
I've
been
had
two
a few
extremes?
performances, but I think it was more so not because I struggled to make the weight, but because I didn't have enough time between weighing and fight time to just eat the food I needed to fuel me for the fight. I remember, I think it was my third pro fight. I was first or second on, and there was an early knockout before me, so I was straight in. I'd not long ate. I remember warming up thinking, I'm going to be sick. I hope I don't get hit in the body. And the whole fight, I remember, by about round 3, I had the worst cramp as well. I had a stitch. I thought, I'm going to be sick any second. My performance was awful. 2 rounds I was boxing amazing, and then I just couldn't throw anything. I was in so much pain. I was sluggish, and I just wanted to remember moving around every second, thinking, come on, let the bell go. And I've had enough. I'm knackered.
When do you find out when you're on?
Normally only a couple of days before the fight, and by that point you know if you're struggling for weight or not. So if you are struggling and you're draining yourself a little bit and you find out you're on early, then it's not going to be ideal.
I suppose the psychological impact of that is massive as well.
Yeah, because being early is always
catch up,
always not great anyway, because let's be honest, who wants to... I think a lot of the people that come to watch boxing outside of the boxing fans come because it's a good night out, they can come and have a few drinks and then go out up East London or wherever later that night. So when you say, I'm on at 4 o'clock, they think, oh, that's a bit too early actually.
That's a sesh, that is that. Yeah, that's the one.
You ain't making the last fight.
Yeah.
It's like,
It ends up being those ones where I have the fight and I'm in a better state than everyone else by the time I'm out the ring.
Alright, we've got one last question, but you can relax on this one. We're gonna put this one to Dave. It says discuss chaps, but
discuss chats. Oh, Dave, you can do it.
Says it's been discussed that Crawford is short of opponents as most welterweights are PBC signed, apart from a certain Kell Brook. Well, it says discuss. It's not really a question, so I suppose we just discuss how much of a waste of time Kell Brook is at the minute.
Well, should he take it?
All right,
Should who take it? Should Kell take it?
Either of them. Kell would take it because he's his money.
Listen, legally, I don't think you can say that on a recording.
What?
Kell Brook taking it. I don't think you're allowed.
Idiot.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I don't think you can say it.
If he gets offered the fight, why not?
Oh, talking about fights. All right,
Fights.
Yeah, talking about fights,
Cool,
lads.
cool.
Come on.
Alright.
Did you see Errol Spence was talking about it this week, and he said he has washed. He categorically said he is finished, and he said he's washed at 147.
No, I did not see that.
I did. I watched it a few times. I didn't watch the
I'm
rest of
surprised
it.
I didn't get
Surprised
get forwarded on into the group. No, I didn't see that, but like, look, he's been inactive. He's not done fuck all. Of course, he's gonna get hammered. Like, I hammer him. I'm a massive fan, but even I'm pissed off that he hasn't fulfilled what everyone expected him to do. If Crawford is looking for an opponent and he gets offered it, take it. Fuck it. Why not? All you can do is lose, and he's already lost before, so fuck it. He wants names. He's already come out and said he's got 1 or 2 fights. He wants the big names.
I think for
I
Crawford,
think
I think for Crawford it's counterproductive.
For Crawford, it
It's a
means
backward
nothing.
step from Khan,
For
of course.
Crawford, it means nothing. Idiot. Just idiot.
Khan was more active at the time as well. You think
He's
about
still active. He's lost to Crawford and he's still fighting before
Exactly.
Crawford.
Do
And I was like,
you know, I forgot
fucking
about
hell.
it, but we have to talk about that card very briefly in a second because it's fucking brilliant.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Why?
It's like one of the best nights of boxing you could ever imagine, I think, now. So now they've added Huey Fury to it.
Oh yeah, I
against
see that.
Samuel Peter, who was world champion 12 years ago. But it's still a step up in class, though.
It's boxing Twitter's number
That's what I
one
said.
night.
Yeah.
Samuel,
Like, this
Samuel
one,
Peter.
cancel your plans for that night. Just sit there.
No, it'd be
Don't
evening,
even
wouldn't
watch.
it?
Don't even watch the fight.
This
What would they be,
is-
that 3 or 4
this
hours
is-
ahead?
Ooh.
That'd be decent. Is that
So
right?
the idea of the whole,
They are 3
maybe
or
this is
4
the one where we
hours
said
ago, yeah.
the drunk pod where we
drunk-
sit and we watch it all
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh my
amazing.
God.
whilst drinking and then record straight afterwards
Right.
And
because
Prince Patel's on it.
he's going to
World
pick up
Championship.
the WBO. No,
IBO.
IBO, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was I thinking? Jesus. It's probably the only belt he hasn't got, the IBO, actually. But yeah, and who's headlining it? It's Khan versus.
Goya.
Yeah.
What's the date for that again?
It's July 12th. It's live and free on Channel 5. We've
Is
got.
that Friday? Oh, we're Friday.
That
over
is
there.
a Friday, I
Friday's
think,
their
yeah.
Saturday over there, isn't it?
I thought Thursday.
Their
was
weekend
Friday.
is Friday and Saturday.
What?
It's like the same as Dubai and all them countries, places.
How have I never heard this information before?
So what? They go to work on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
yeah,
Friday.
that's right. Imagine Saturday
It's
being
exactly
Sunday.
the same.
Oh, no, you just ruined everything.
It's such a head fuck.
It's the same.
Exactly, get 2 days off a week.
It's such a head fuck, mate.
It's completely unrelated, but I'm now fully in favour of Brexit.
If
That's
we
it.
can change our weekend.
Don't want any of this shit, no, just
Thursday,
that's it. Just leave it
Monday and
as it is.
Tuesday is their weekend. Fuck it. Yeah,
Not too far now, mate.
I'm not. I couldn't give a shit about.
There's no
this.
redeeming a Monday. That's done.
Couldn't give a crap about that.
But I feel like we need to watch this as a team. And
No, I'm not watching it. 'Cause
oh come on,
no, watching Amir Khan.
you can.
Prince Patel.
No, I don't like.
Listen,
He annoys
this
me.
is a good card.
He annoys me even more.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another time. 'Cause I think like this needs to be a team watch. This is hilarious.
I think Kell Brook should jump on that card. That even better.
Do you know why? That's why I brought it up because I was like, he's saying he's inactive. He's got nothing going
Why
on.
jump
There's
on the
people
card?
out there
Frankie
making
Gavin
money.
rematch.
There we go.
Who?
Frankie Gavin.
Former world champion versus former potential Olympian.
Yeah.
There you go.
Former potential.
That's the standard of this card, though.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go, but yeah, I was fat.
Go on
So I
your
couldn't.
favourite website. Tell me when Samuel Peter last fought.
Is it on Pornhub? No, I'll have a look. Samuel Peter.
Because
I can't believe I threw box for it. In the
Oh.
Purge bin.
I think he lost to a journeyman, didn't he? Last? Oh no, did he have a draw with a journeyman?
did he fight? When
I
was
think he
last
lost
time?
with Genuine
Yeah.
recently, actually. I
Yeah.
think I saw that earlier.
Oh yeah,
The
the
Nigerian nightmare.
yeah.
Yes. Oh wow.
Wow, his box picture is decent.
How old is
Spin
he?
that- Oh, I can't spin that.
How old is he? 25.
38.
That's what his passport says.
38.
Yeah, he's more than 38, isn't
He's definitely not 38. That picture is of when he was 38, and that's in black and white.
he? How old is Lewis Ortiz? Officially?
They were in school
Roger
together.
Miller,
these
he's the
two.
Roger Miller of
These two were in
boxing.
school together.
Roger Miller of boxing.
Right, so yeah, he's he won his last fight against Alejandro Gorodino in Tijuana.
Which was a bar fight.
It was at Cheers Bar.
Thank you.
And
His last couple of fights have been there.
And he's fought there before that as well. Gerardo Escobar. I'm not saying anything.
He must be a bouncer.
Well, you wouldn't have the problem of not being able to drink and watch his fights there, would you?
No. But in fairness to
Drinking in the
him,
ring as well.
It's probably more
we only have to go back 5 fights and he was fighting Kurat Pulev, few fights before that, Hellenius, and then Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah.
But we're talking, this is
Look
10
at
years
the-
ago.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the years.
Don't spoil it.
No.
I'm just trying to throw out some big names because that's what they're going to do on the show.
What is
He's been in the ring with.
What's the
What
point?
is he doing?
What's the point, man?
Listen,
Yeah.
everyone's getting paid here. These are the sort of ones where, you know, you think these might even just go down as exhibition bouts. They might not even end up on BoxRec.
That would not surprise me. Because what's the...
Because Khan's one's not an official fight, is
So
it?
what is
It's
it?
an exhibition like the
Is it?
Mayweather one, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know.
No, I
Who's he
thought it was
fighting?
for like
I thought
that
it was
Asian- some diamond
Asian
belt.
Asian
Yeah.
title.
Let's stop pretending that WBC belt adds any credibility to this.
It's Asian
Because it
title,
doesn't.
isn't it? Something like that. I think it's an Asian title.
Fair play,
Where's the
maybe.
guy from?
I think he's Indian, isn't he?
But if they're the
Oh.
fighters in the main events, can you imagine what the backups are? For Hugh, surely if we've got Danny
Oh, can you
Williams or
click on
someone.
the?
Yeah, the event.
Oh, man.
Let's get it off. Amir Khan, Niraj Goyet. Yeah, it's India.
He's only had 11 fights.
He's number 1 in India.
He's
Out of
only had
15.
11.
That's it
Out of
always.
15,
He's only had 11 fights.
his alias, Gangster.
How-
That's what it says, Gangster.
Oh, fuck.
I love that.
Is this one of those ones that's just been done by some geezer? It's like, you know, the ones they just edit on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
He's managed by
He's
Barney
got
Rubble.
a 13% KO ratio, so Khan's in trouble.
He
Right.
can bang them.
Yeah. But in fairness, he's fought all over. He's going to fight in Jeddah. He's fought in Canada a couple of times. Looks like Mexico as well.
Cheers, Bar.
And then
Oh, no.
What, Samuel Peter?
That's his last loss.
On that, Danny Williams is fighting again in a couple of weeks.
No.
Seriously.
No.
No.
Who's he fighting?
Do
He
you know what?
can't- is
Box
he-
Yeah,
fights-
flyweight this time.
Is
He
he
fought
going
lightweight or something recently, didn't he?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
He lost as well.
What?
He lost that. The guy wasn't lightweight when he fought him,
He went up to heavyweight and beat Danny
but he
Williams.
started, like, he's 53,
Jesus
26
Christ.
now.
Well, that's
He
look
looks-
at that photo.
Fuck.
Do you know what? I apologise if you can't see this.
He's lost.
I'm going to show you this after because he looks scary.
He does.
He does,
Like,
but
I want to apologise already for everything I'm about to say. But
he's on a 5 winning streak.
Oh, he's had 5 fights since then.
yeah, like he, Jesus.
Jesus Christ, he was cannon fodder for a few people, wasn't he?
Yeah, like he's just obviously earning money now. Like he obviously owes somebody something. He's 45, but he's still ranked 22 in the UK.
Maybe you get Williams
He's had
Harrison on the
53
card
wins.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
26.
What
For
class?
a 1 hour fight.
Can you
Who's,
imagine?
who's below him in the rankings?
Like that's British heavyweights. Right, so who's 23?
Big
Ryan Charles, actually, we know him.
Dorian Dutch.
Yeah, I think the drop off in quality from the top few heavyweights is quite drastic, isn't it?
Mm.
Cash Ali is 16th. There we go.
I love David Price. He's still a 10. He's still above Dubois. That's shameful.
Right, so obviously we'll talk more about the Khan card as we get closer because I think that's going to be really funny. It's going to be good fun. Any other business, boys?
No.
Anybody you want to shout out, Ricky? Anyone you want to say thanks to, or
Oh,
yourself?
loads to thank. Obviously, all my sponsors, especially. Without them, I wouldn't be able to box. I have to work still, so all of their, even just everything they do for me, from promoting fights, taking me a little bit of money when I need it, helps massively. So you got Q Sports Physio, who also look after me, keep me injury free as well. Elim Plan 9 Tattoos, who look after me if I need any tattoos as well. And if anyone else needs any, just give them a shout. There you go. Get you
Sorry.
a little
That arm's
discount in
taken
there.
off. Got this arm here.
can they correct Chinese writing?
I'm sure they can.
Can they do big cover-ups? Because that's...
Yeah.
And then on top of that, just everyone that comes to my fights, especially the Brentford fans themselves, because they make up the numbers on the ticket sales.
Yeah.
Every time you get the same bunch down every time, and that regardless of who I'm fighting, where I'm fighting, they make sure they're there and they're supporting me. So
Yeah, you see
that's
online as
making
well.
a
You've
massive
got big
difference.
support from the Brentford boys.
I think without the Brentford lot and my sponsors, I wouldn't be able to box. So after maybe 2 fights, I would have had to just call it a day and go back to work. So with all of those guys, it's been a massive help. And all yourself, like all these different podcasts and people that are involved in boxing, like Southpaw, Jab, IFL TV, all of them, it helps massively. If we didn't have a platform to talk on, people wouldn't know who we were.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what would I be doing? Sticking posters up in the local barbers and a pub and stuff like that. No one would know who
And
any
just
of us
hoping
are.
for the best.
Yeah.
Does that still happen? Do people?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Right.
that.
So
My
yeah.
barbers,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it really.
Posters up all the time. Stuff like
I feel
that.
like I
There's
ain't
a
seen
barber
it.
just across the road from me, and when Jez fought Sam Antwi at Christmas,
Oh, was it on
was it
there?
Christmas? No, February.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a poster up in there for it.
Yeah, man.
Is that Pharaoh's? That's just over there. Yeah. I see him because the guy that owns that, his brother used to be a pro that icebox with Andrew.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, also big shout out to them because they put my posters up in there as well. So Pharaoh's Barbers as well.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I think that's everyone.
Right, wicked. So yeah, we covered a lot today. It's good. Like we had quite a few weeks off, so it's nice to be back and actually catch up. I was sick of talking about boxing with people at work. So I said I love that everyone has opinions, but I don't like people who've got wrong opinions.
Did you speak about anyone other than Anthony Joshua? And
No, that's
Not
my
really.
That's my issue, mate.
That's
Yeah.
I
it.
sort of switch off, man.
Yeah, it just gets boring, doesn't it? There's only so many times you can tell
You
people
just
that he
find
lost
yourself
because he wasn't the best person there.
Having a Twitter conversation. Like I've read this on Twitter. Why am I answering a question?
It's
that
the worst
you
thing.
just read on Twitter.
Yeah,
anyway,
when
or-
people repeat back to what Eddie Hearns just said in an interview.
what I found most interesting after Joshua lost to Ruiz was, I thought to myself, in 3 or 4 weeks' time when this has died down a little bit, what are people going to talk to me about when I tell them that I box and they go, oh, boxing, Anthony Joshua, what are they going to talk about now?
Yeah.
We've run out of ideas.
That's it. Once that's gone,
That's it.
yeah, I've said that before. Like when we first started interviewing fighters and stuff, the amount of people that I used to send out the links and say, have a listen, see what you think and whatnot. Guys would say, you want to give that Anthony Joshua a call, try and get an interview.
Get him in.
Yeah. Sure, he'll come sit down with us. Yeah. Not a problem. I'll get my people to call his people. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, boxers are the most accessible people up to a level,
Yeah.
and then they just go off the radar completely.
Massively. They're not even on the radar.
But
That's
yeah,
what
like,
you just said by saying.
yeah.
It's really hot, man.
It's not now.
Just me then. Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, we've loved having you in. We love having boxers in to come and talk to us and etc. Because we're I wouldn't even say we're glorified fans. We're just fans. We turn up, we go to watch the boxing, and so to get a better insight from you guys on how it all plays out.
I mean, I'm exactly the same. I'm just a fan that is lucky enough to have enough people funding me to be able to fight as well. It's the cheapest way to watch it.
Well, not many other livings you can punch people in the face either.
No, there you go.
I'm sure everyone else wants to do it at work at times.
Hell yeah.
Right, so yeah, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back next week, and hopefully there'll be something decent at the MTK card that we can latch onto, because otherwise I feel like it's going to be a fairly quiet week. So we'll be back next week, and we'll catch you then. Peace.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat your children.